Okay, so the topic for today is about drug interdiction, and the objective of today's presentation is to talk about uh, if does drug interdiction increase or decrease drug-related crimes. Well, my name is Sebastian, and this is a presentation for the class of Economic Case Studies. Now, to answer the question, we need to ask first some other questions. So, first of all, what is drug interdiction? Drug interdiction is the action of the different institutions or governments or police to stop drug crimes or drug smuggling or basically anything related to drugs or drug use. So, why is it necessary? First of all, drugs and drugs use is a problem we're facing today as a society. That's maybe something obvious, but it needs to be told. Now, there are several adverse effects of drug dependence, which are mostly related to drug related crimes. And facing these problems, governments use millions of dollars, or not just dollars, maybe another currency in other countries, to attack this problem. So that's the framework we're working with. So next, we need to analyze these policies of drug interdiction with the ideas of loss and supply, of losses of supply and demand. Sorry. So let's set an example. Let imagine let us imagine that there's an increase on the agents devoted to the fight against drugs. This is the state or the government um, giving more resources to the police or to the military or whatever institution is in charge of taking this drug fight against drug smugglers or drug users even. So, how can we analyze this? We can take three steps. First of all, we need to check if the supply or the demand curves shift. Which one of them? Maybe both of them, maybe just one. We will see. And next, what's the direction of this shift? How does this shift affect the prices and quantities of equilibrium? So, for example, let's just start by the supply side. Let's say drug interdiction affects from the supply side. How can that be? Well, analyzing this like in a series of events, we can see that, for example, the idea of more policemen, more military action against drugs can lead to more arrests and more drugs being stopped from entering the country. This means basically an increase in the cost of smuggling drugs, even using them. So, supply is reduced and demand stays the same. What does this mean? Well, as we can see in the panel, in the left, in the graph, we can see that the supply curve shifts. And what does this cause? Well, this basically causes the price to go up and the quantities to go down. From one side, this actually does work because we're actually reducing quantity of drugs in the country. But since the price goes up and demand stays the same, which means that demand is mostly inelastic, this means that drug related crimes will go up. We will see this further. So, this leads us to talk about another approach, which is not from the supply side, but is from the demand side. So, yes, this is not exactly drug interdiction, this is drug education. So, what are the drug education effects on supply and demand? Well, as I just told you, since price raises, commonly drug related crimes increase at the same time. This is the reason to look for any further options from the demand side. So, what if we didn't approach this drug problem from the demand side and from drug interdiction, and we were trying to actually approach it from another perspective, which is reducing demand, not reducing supply? Well, drug education reduces demand for drugs. So, this causes a shift from the demand curve and it pushes equilibrium prices and equilibrium quantities down, both of them. So, the total revenue of the drug market, per se, falls as well. So this looks better in different ways. From one side, we have a reduced quantity in the country of drugs. So there's actually less drugs in the country, and from the other side, prices fall as well. So, in contrast to drug interdiction, to the fight sometimes with guns and some unwanted results, well, in contrast to drug interdiction, drug education can reduce both drug use and drug related crime. So, this may seem like a better option in the short term. And that's our last topic, or last point, which is the time horizon. So, maybe drug interdiction is not efficient at some point because it often leads to drug related crimes. So, that may be explained by the time horizon we're talking about. Because, yes, this can happen in the short term because the prices won't change in the short term and the demand won't change in the short term. Well, prices will change, prices will go up, but demand won't change. So, this inelasticity of demand will stay there, but maybe not for a long time. Because since the prices will go up and time goes onward, young people won't really be maybe interested in buying drugs because of the high prices, and this may be leading in the future for less drug use. So yeah, high prices may cause more drug-related crimes, but in the long run, high prices can reduce the experimentation or the drug use within young people. So even though this first option from the supply side is not exactly what we would expect in the short run because of the increase on drug-related crime, in the long run, in the long term, it would maybe actually help because since the prices would go up, young people wouldn't actually be affording or even be interested in buying drugs, and this would push demand even more down. So, yes, this is a debate we could have if we should choose the drug interdiction or if we should choose drug education. In my opinion, governments, for example, if they want to keep the power in the country, maybe the best option they could have would be drug interdiction because in the short term, it would reduce drug use. So maybe they can use that as propaganda, like we reduce drug use, even though it created more drug-related crime. But in my opinion as well, I think drug education is the best way to set a path to reduce drug use and drug-related crimes as well in the short and in the long run. So yeah, that's my opinion. Maybe we could talk about it or debate it some other time. So well, that was it. Thank you very much.